Oh, this is Mr. Hornsby 83 with my Who Should Have Been World Champion 90's edition. I'm going to start like I did last time with WWE. Guys that should have been champion in the 90's. Once again, Mr. Perfect is on this list because he was there from the 80's and 90's, but he eventually went to WCW. When Lex Luger was there, they should have made him the World Heavyweight Champion in WWE, but they didn't because for some reason, whenever they brought over a WCW guy that was world champion in their company, in the other company, they wouldn't make him world champion. But they make him come in looking strong and that, like they did with Vader and all that, but they never really made him the champion, which made no sense to me. But, and here's a guy that a lot of people are probably going to be shocked by. The British Bulldog. I mean, the way they utilized him, and he was a major part of the 80's and 90's, and they never really made him world heavyweight champion. I mean, why not? I mean, he was, one of their top guys at the time. He had the Bret Hart history in that, but, I guess Bret or WWE just felt like he shouldn't have been the champion. And again, another guy who was still there in the 90's, Rowdy Piper. Never made him champion. He was one of your best wrestlers, one of your best entertainers, but you never made him champion. You always wasted freaking the talent. And he had been champion in other companies, but ravishing Rick Rude. I mean, he was very entertaining, very good, and WWE just completely underutilized him and really didn't do much with him. I mean, he was Intercontinental Champion, but that was about it. But, at least over in WCW, he was the International Heavyweight Champion of the world when WCW got the World Heavyweight title back. This version. Well, not this one. This is 99 one. But, also, another guy that a lot of people would probably feel the same that I feel, or are probably shocked, Owen Hart. I mean, the great rivalry he had with Bret, even though they were brothers. I mean, Owen Hart, even when the rest of the Harts left, Owen Hart stuck with WWE. Although I heard, that WWE wouldn't let him out of his contract. He wanted to go to WCW, but they wouldn't let him. And then you see what happened in '99 when that led to the unfortunate demise of Owen Hart, which, was terrible. I can't believe, something like that happened, especially live on a pay-per-view, but that's the past, the past, the past. But, see, who else? Jake the Snake was also still there in the 90's and never really got the championship. And, it's like WWE just, a lot of guys, and they even do it now to this day, just waste talent. They just waste guys like blah, like, let's waste this guy, let's waste this guy, let's waste this guy. Another guy, Razor Ramon, one of your top performers, entertaining. You were he was selling a ton of merchandise in that, but you wouldn't give him the title. Makes no sense to me. But yet you'll give somebody like Yokozuna the title. No disrespect to Yoko, but I mean, you're gonna let Yokozuna be champion? Like not Scott Hall or Razor Ramon or any of those guys that deserved it. And here is also probably gonna be a big surpriser. Bam Bam Bigelow. Very athletic for a big guy. I mean, he was big and heavy, and you put the belt on Yokozuna and you claimed he was agile. Actually, Bam Bam Bigelow, I think, was more athletic than freaking, more athletic than Yokozuna and that. But, alright, I'm going to go to WCW because there were some guys in WCW that just, completely got shafted, Stone Cold Steve Austin, when you had him there, you gave him the television title, you gave him the U.S. title, but you never gave him the world title. Makes no sense. I mean, he was, very talented, very good. He didn't even get the championship until he went to WWE, and it took him 2 years after he had been there to get it. And, despite what I feel about him personally, which I feel he's personally a corporate. He's freaking a John Cena backstage. Um, Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind. Again, another guy who got underutilized and really got wasted, and really never really made him champion. It just made him tag team champion. I think he might have been U.S. television, but I don't know. Arn Anderson. I mean, Arn Anderson was one of the most talented guys ever, but he was always, Flair's right-hand man, so they wasn't going to make him champion. Great Muta, I bring him up again because although he had the title when it wasn't official anymore, really, it wasn't really officially a world championship anymore because they had the other championship made, and that was their main championship. But he did have the world title, but it wasn't really technically a real world title run. So you could have gave him a real world title run. You just wasted a great underrated wrestler like the Great Muta and just threw him to the wayside. Like, oh, this guy's not gonna do much and blah blah blah. But oh yeah, by the way, this is early '90s stuff, but get to late '90s here in a bit. Let me see, who else? Dustin Rhodes. All the stuff you made him do throughout his career, not once got the world title. You let his dad Dusty get it. I know Dustin's not as good as, Dusty was. Or, maybe they just felt like he wasn't world champion material, because really, wherever he went, he really didn't get the world title. He went to WWE, didn't get the title, went to TNA, he was just, they were trying to relive his Gold Dust years, and, that didn't work out too well. But, yeah, it's just, I think that's about it for WCW guys this time. Alright, now ECW. Now, look, I watched early ECW stuff, and I really didn't watch it early. I went back to WWE Network and watched some of the early stuff. Again, ECW, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho. They had a ton of guys that they could have made world champion. Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. Their resume speaks for themselves. And then Taz. From the moment Taz stepped into ECW, all the way until he finally left ECW, Taz was like the hottest wrestler ever. I mean, he was such a big name. They didn't give him the title till close to the end of his run in ECW. Tommy Dreamer. This guy did everything for your company, and you surpass him for Raven, which, Raven wasn't, there from day one, and Tommy Dreamer was your equivalent of Sting, or your equivalent of, Shawn Michaels. Oh yeah, Shawn Michaels also should have got the world title sooner than what he got, but, I'm still not a Shawn Michaels fan. Same with Undertaker, he should have got the title, but let me get to the rest of the ECW guys. And you also had Cactus Jack there. I mean, he was so popular. Him and Austin, and you just didn't give him the title. It just made no sense. That Eddie Guerrero in that. You could have been the company that made these guys real big stars by making them champions. And, but they really wasted a lot of their, ECW made a lot of stupid mistakes. And, most of it's because of Paul Heyman. And, yeah, like I said, I respect Shane Douglas. Was a great champion. You just can't carry a company. I mean, heck, I can even make a case for freaking Lance Storm. Or Al Snow getting the title. But they never got it because during Shane Douglas's reign, he held that title more times than anybody. And really, not too long after Taz got the TV title, that's when he should have been heading for the next step for the world title against Shane Douglas, and they should have did it sooner than what they did, but they wanted to get the title to guys like Mikey Ripwire and Raven and Sandman and that, which, it's understandable because they were, your popular guys at the time, but Tommy Dreamer was popular too, and you didn't give him the title until toward the end of the reign, and then you let frickin' crappy Justin Credible take the title right out from underneath him, so. Now I'm going to get to late 90s, right before the 2000s. And I'm going to start time WCW, because WCW had all that talent. All the talent they had in the mid to late 90s. You had guys like Booker T, Scott Steiner who came to his own, you know, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. What you did with Goldberg was a waste, just as bad as what WWE done, and, you know, honestly, Chris Jericho should have been champion in WCW. Him, Eddie Guerrero, or Chris Benoit should have been champion. They would have been perfect to help that company, because that was where the big boys played, and then you should have gave guys like Booker T and, you know, Steiner and that the title sooner, but you kept relying on freaking, like I said, has-beens of WWE washed up like freaking Hulk Hogan and, you know, Macho, as great as Macho Man was, by the time he got WCW, Diamond Dallas Page should have got the title, honestly, in 97 when he got hot. And, well, maybe not 97, but early 98 when he was real hot, and fans really loved him, but didn't give him the title. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they just wasted their freaking guys. I mean, you bring in a Giant, like his debut, he becomes WCW champion, and they switch things around. Then, not too long after that, he becomes champion again, and holds it until Hog Wild when Hogan wins it, and spray paints the belt, NWO, and blah, blah, blah. And also, 97 should have been Lex Luger's year, but they wanted to bring the Sting thing back, and this and that, and I'm sure Luger didn't mind, because, you know, him and Sting are good pals, and they've always been good pals from the moment they both went to NWA/WCW, but, I mean, Luger, they had him on a big momentum roll, and then when he was the first guy to beat Hulk Hogan, he only gets to hold the belt for less than a week. Held it 6 days. 6 days, and then you freaking take the belt off of him. You could have gave the Giant another run somewhere down the line. Bill Goldberg, you should have freaking gave him another run. He was like one of your top guys, and then you brought him in to compete with Stone Cold. You know, see, and this is why I say, if WCW wouldn't have made all the stupid mistakes, and a lot of people have said it, no matter what they are, have said this, if WCW wouldn't have made all the stupid mistakes they made, they would have had, they'd still be in business, and WWE might still be freaking trying to figure out how to beat them. But, Bischoff got one great brilliant idea and then just stuck with it all the way to the end, and that's why a lot of guys left and went to WWE. Now I'm going to hop over to WWF/WWE, and a lot of the guys in the Attitude Era, they get the title a lot more. There's some guys that still got shafted. I mean, Chris Jericho, Benoit, these are guys I just said, but, you know, they were in that company too. You know, Undertaker, he had that one run. I mean, his first run was like less than 4 days, and then Hogan got it back because of Hogan's backstage politicking and blah, blah, blah. Then when the second run ended, it was, you know, Bret Hart getting it. And Vader, I mean, Vader was a great wrestler, even though he was a bigger guy. And you didn't give him the title. I mean, you bring him in all hot, you freaking have him get victories over Shawn Michaels like it's nothing, and you don't give him the title? I mean, it makes no sense why you would do that. And one guy that really frustrates me that they never gave the championship to, and I believe, when I seen his interview, and I believe this was true, that Ahmed Johnson was supposed to be the first black American champion. Not The Rock, Ahmed Johnson, but Vince McMahon being racist or feeling like the fans were too racist to accept it. I mean, Ahmed Johnson was pretty popular until, you know, they started getting hot with stuff like Stone Cold, and Farouk started getting hot when he came in. You know, with Ron Simmons, you know, turned to Farouk, which first his gimmick was goofy, and then his gimmick became a great gimmick with the Nation of Domination stuff. It was amazing. Which you should have made Farouk champion, but you never did, because, I mean, this guy was first black American champion ever in any wrestling, and you bring him in, you freaking give him some stupid, goofy looking suit when he first comes in, when he attacks Ahmed Johnson. And then, not only that, you take him and put him in the Nation. He was hot, he was strong, he had a lot of heat on him, and you just waste him. Like, oh yeah, let's waste this guy. And when they brought in guys like Taz and that, I think they should have put the title on him, but they didn't. Because Taz, basically, a lot of people could say Taz was better than Stone Cold, and Stone Cold shouldn't have even. Stone Cold can't, light a match with Taz, which I don't know, I don't care, but, that's between them to settle. There's Taz fans out there, there's Stone Cold fans out there. Both of them are ignorant outside of wrestling. So, the reason why I say that is because Stone Cold, he's protecting his investment, I guess, the way he kisses up to Vince McMahon, and then, and then Taz with the stupid remarks he made on his debut podcast, or his little preview podcast about, WWE and CM Punk were in on freaking him going to UFC. Yeah. Apparently you didn't pay much attention to that freaking podcast. Edge should have been champion in WWE. I mean, he's very popular. They should have fucking made him champion, but they never did because they're just plain stupid. But, I'm gonna go to ECW, guys, and I've already gave my views on which guy should have been champion. Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer. Lance Storm could have been champion. Again, Al Snow. He was real hot with the head thing, which was, reason why WWE brought him in and made him hardcore champion. Wow. But, there were so many talents that Paul Heyman and them wasted. It was just ridiculous. And, I don't know. I don't know, these companies, and Paul Heyman, by the way, he gets credit for being a genius. If he was a genius, he should have found a way to have the money, and the way he would have had money is if he would have gave guys that were selling merchandise and that the world title, but they didn't. He gave it to freaking crappy guys like freaking Justin Credible and Steve Corino and Rhino. I mean, yeah, Rhino's okay, but he's not a guy that should have been world champion, and that's basically what led to ECW's downfall. It might be financial, part of it, but part of it is because of stupid decisions. And then you put titles on guys like Mike Awesome, and you put guys, I don't know. But, yeah. Also in WCW, when Shane Douglas came to WCW, he should have been world champion. But, yeah, that'll wrap it up for this video. I got one more of these from the mid-2000s, from the early 2000s to the mid-2000s. Might give some ideas on who should be champion currently, but yeah, that one will probably be next Monday. Also, I want to say something. Last time you see me, I ranted about, wrestling. I forgot to mention TNA did do one smart thing. They signed Drew Galloway. I guess since they couldn't get Alberto Al Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, they got Drew Galloway. And you know what? If TNA's smart, they need to put the title on Drew Galloway. And I'm not just saying that because I met him and he treated me like he knew me for 10 years, but he's a great wrestler. I mean, come on now. WWE freaking dropped the ball with him, like they dropped the ball with a lot of guys. But, yeah, that'll do it for this video. Tune into my topic show. It's probably going to be a wrestling, probably a wrestling base or MK base. I'm not for sure yet. I'll let you know on my Facebook fan page, but till then, peace out.